is America's coolest conservative and the future king of talk radio. 107.9 FM WBT presents The TJ Ritchie Show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Look at him. Look at him. Here I am, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've been waiting breathlessly. You've been saying to yourself, hey, where is the most famous and legendary active radio personality in Charlotte? So just hang on a minute. He'll be on. And here I am. Unapologetic, in-your-face conservatism. Let's go ahead and fire it up on the phones and the text line, 704-570-1079. 704-570-1079. That's driven by Liberty Buick GMC. Okay, I've got a big time local story. I think I'm breaking this one on the radio. This has already been broken and brought in. I'm not bringing it. It's already been brought in, but not to the mainstream. I'm probably the first radio personality in the news business because I'm officially a news person now that I work for WBT. Now, I'm not claiming to be a news person on the level with Breaking Brett Jensen. No way. Hell no. Not saying that, but the program director has been on my case because I don't do enough local stories. So I've got a breaking local story that's not quite breaking. But this is what I do. I got my finger on the pulse of the peoples, the real peoples, the movers and shakers, the one in the trenches in this big dangerous city. So there's a controversy going on. There is a lady who has posted something about Charlotte on her social media. Her name is Ann. Ann, last name Tagonist, is her screen name. And all she did was she posted this little 15-second video, and now all hell has broken loose. Listen.
As a Charlotte native, I've lived in Greertown, off Beattisford, off West Boulevard. I used to stay going to the transit. I ain't scared of Tuck, Sugar Creek, none of that. You will never catch me in that Walmart on no Tryon. It's not going to happen.
Okay, so the one place you never see her in Charlotte is the Walmart on North Tryon. I've never been to the Walmart on North Tryon, but I'll take her word for it. She's not afraid of the transit. She's not afraid to go anywhere except there. So some people got upset, and she had to come back and do another video to respond. So this is Walmart on North Tryon Part 2 by Ann, last name Tagonist. Here we go.
Who would have thought I got up here and said, North Charlotte the way is caping for that Walmart on North Tryon? Like they are direct descendants of Sam Walton. Go dig your daddy up, bitch. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. It was one girl in my comments telling me, I'm from Charlotte. I ain't scared to go nowhere. I'll go anywhere. Okay, Debo. The movie over with. You still in character. It's okay. Calm down. Man, was really mad. Oh, she just posted this for attention. It's a fucking Walmart. What the hell is going on? And then was in my other video talking about if you don't like Charlotte, you could go back to where you from. I'm from Charlotte. I was born at CMC in the 1900s, honey. You can't tell me nothing about Charlotte. That's why I can talk about it. But it's okay, because y'all heard me call myself a native, then call people that move here transplants, and you still think I'm not from here. And to tell me that I'm a northerner, nothing about my accent gives the north.
No.
George Bush is going to pay for his crimes because was left behind, bar.
She's not playing. She is not playing. Now, I don't know what all that noise in the background was. It sounded like somebody had their car outside cranking some like 90s style woofers and stuff. I always hated that. I always thought that was one of the stupidest things that ever come along. They go pay for these big sound systems to go in their trunk, and that's all you hear going by. And that's all you could hear, because I had a friend who had one. And inside the car, that's all you could hear.
got no liner on there. They ain't got no liner on their trunk, so it's rattling the plate and everything like that.
Yeah. I was like, what are you doing? I want to hear the words. I want to hear the music. I want to hear the music. That's what I want to hear. But anyway, I'm glad that trend's gone. But that's what it sounded like outside her window there. Now, have you been keeping up with this, Lonnie? Because this is the number one story in Charlotte.
I seen the video earlier today.
Before I sent it to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and then you got to respect that too. You're like, damn, Ritchie is really on stuff here.
I mean, she's not lying. I mean, I've been here pretty much my whole life since I've been 10 years old, so I understand. I don't go there. Either. I try to avoid it if I can.
Is it just is it crazier than normal Walmarts?
I mean, just know that it's a reason why they have more security at that Walmart than any other Walmart in the city. I
bet you I could go. Nobody mess with me.
Nah, nobody ain't gonna mess with you. It's just, it's just, you already know. Crime.
Just chaos.
Yeah.
Oh, they may mess with my car outside or something, my truck. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, nah, not your truck, but, it's just chaos, stealing, crime,
Okay. Well, I mean, I might. So if I want to go steal something, that's the place I should go.
Yeah. Nah, I wouldn't go there because they train the employees to beat you up.
That's good then. That's good. I have a friend that used to work at an Old Navy, and he said people come in there all the time and try to shoplift, and then they would go to stop them, and then they turn around and want to fight. He said, I'd run to the back. He's like, I'm not risking my life over a $2 pair of flip flops that was out on the front table.
Nah.
That somebody trying to steal. So that's good. The employees are trying to keep them from stealing. That's awesome. Well, I need to go check it out. Hey, why don't we send Andrew down there for a live report on the scene?
He would be perfect.
Both of his parents would be up at the radio station going, what are you doing with our son? He did not sign up for this. He went to college, for God's sakes. All right, well, go ahead and rack this segment, pull it and save it, because I think there's a Marconi in it for me.
Got
you. Best local news story. The TJ Ritchie Show. And I know Brett Jensen's going to be jealous because he didn't get it. Garrison going to be jealous. All of them. Anna. See, they're not the kind of news person I am, obviously. They don't know what's up. They can't pull in some stories like that. All right. So what's going on with the SAVE Act? What's happening in Iran? How many poor children are they trying to change to a different sex? All the stuff going on in U.S. America, which is just a sign of the times. We'll get to all of it coming up next.
It's TJ, the green-eyed patriot, on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WBT. Hear him on the radio and podcast. Watch him on YouTube. Like and subscribe to all social media platforms at tjritchie.com and WBT.com. Now, back to TJ Ritchie on 107.9 FM WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk.
Woo! On fire! Happy St. Patrick's Day, if you celebrate that kind of stuff. I have a St. Patrick's Day pickup line that I always used on the Ace and TJ show as content, but it's a little bit risque. So the way we would do it is, say, if you want the famous TJ pickup line, we'll do the first 5 callers right now, and then people would call and get lined up on the phone. And then we would talk to them for a second on the air, find out their name. Say, like, hey, this is Bob from Matthews. All right, Bob, you ready for the St. Patrick's Day pickup line? And he'd say, yeah. So then We would take them off the air, all of us off the air. I would say the pickup line, and then everybody comes back on the air, and all you got was their reaction. So the only way you could get the pickup line was to be one of the lucky callers, and people would try for years to get in to get that. So then, I don't know, I was debating whether to just say it, because it's not that nasty. But then again, I don't know that I want to do that. Well, it is on my my social media, my Instagram. We did a little version of that on my morning show, syndicated morning show I do called the TJ and Riggins Show. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but I have 2 jobs. So if you go to TJ_Ritchie on Instagram, then it's posted up there if you want it. It's just a funny little thing, but it is a little risque. All right, the Save America Act. Only 2 Republican senators did not vote to open debate on the Save America Act, which is the voter ID. One is, neither one is a surprise. One is Lisa Murkowski, who is about as much of a Republican as Hakeem Jeffries is. And then the other is our old buddy, North Carolina's own Tom Tillis. Tom Bernie Sanders with a Southern accent, Tillis. He did not show up to vote, which was basically a vote for the Democrats. Which is, they can pretty much depend on him now to help them no matter what. Because he doesn't have to worry about being reelected, and like I've said many times, he's just showing out. Trying to be the new Maverick, like John McCain. Trying to be the new John McCain, but what he actually is the new AOC. He's on the same team with Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Cory Booker. They're all on the same team now. But good for him. Good for him. That is great. Great stuff. Absolutely wonderful. So the Democrats have been talking about all of the stuff that, reason they'll never support the Save America Act because it keeps married women from voting, and it's Jim Crow. He's Chuck Schumer, somebody else who's on the same team with Tom Tillis now. Chuck Schumer calls it Jim Crow 2.0. But it can't be like Jim Crow because Jim Crow was all Democrats. But here is an actual conservative senator who likes America from Utah, Mike Lee, explaining what the Save America Act is and then how it would actually work with voter ID. Listen.
Bill, what you'll discover is that we've made special accommodation for those who don't have documentation, for those who can't find their birth certificate, maybe their house burned down, maybe their dog ate it, whatever it is. When all else fails, if you don't have documentation establishing the information on your birth certificate or what would be in a passport or otherwise, the bill contains a provision requiring each state to allow an alternative mechanism by which someone can, by attestation, issue a sworn statement establishing the critical facts underlying their citizenship. It then puts the onus on the state to follow up on that and to determine the authenticity of it. States have access to their own records. States have reciprocity with other states and are able to achieve verification of that. So we've taken care of that problem. And so I'm sure you'll be elated to hear that. And we look forward to having your affirmative vote when we vote on the Save America Act. We took great pains to go out of our way to make sure that no American would be left in the dark.
Well,
this will not cost them a dime, and no one will be excluded if they can't find their documentation.
And it didn't show him in the video, but that sounds like, because I'm good with voices, it sounds like Illinois Senator Dick Durbin trying to interrupt him there. The wicked Dick Durbin, who is on the same team with Tom Tillis now, obviously, apparently. I've been asked, and I've never, ever taken it seriously, and I don't think I've ever been asked seriously, but I have been asked, you ever think you would want to run for office? And they're not talking about any kind of, big-time office. They're, people just talking about, since I love politics, if I'd want to be in politics. And I've always said, no, there's no way I could do that. I don't even have a degree. I dropped out of college. But then I got to thinking, I could easily be a senator or a U.S. congressman. It would be the easiest job I think I've ever had. Hear me out now. All I would have to do, since I love America and I actually realize that America is in danger of having its entire freedom and liberty stripped away by these communists who call themselves Democrats. I'm not just playing political games and trying to get a spotlight shown upon me for being a renegade or some sort. All I would have to do is find a few of the people on the other side and say, all I'm going to do when I get to Washington is wherever the Democrats, the most liberal Democrats are, which they're all liberal now, they're all communists, except for John Fetterman. I would say whatever they say, I'm just going to go against. I don't even have to know what's in each bill. I don't have to know what their arguments are against it. I don't have to know what our arguments on my side would be for it. For example, if I were in the Senate right now, I would look over and say, well, what's Bernie doing? And if Bernie were voting for something, I would vote against it. And I would hit every TV, because I could smoke those TV appearances. Because I'm Mr. Personality. I could do that. I'd go on every single cable news show, and that's all I would say. I'm against this bill, and they'd say, why? Because Bernie Sanders is a communist, and he's for it. That's it. That's all you'd have to say. But there is a sitting senator now, I can't remember his name, but he called himself a conservative, yet he's helping Bernie Sanders and AOC and Chuck Schumer and all of them. I can't recall what his name is. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. If there were a candidate running in my district, and that's all he said, look, I don't even have a college degree. I sold concrete. I didn't even own the company. I was a concrete salesman, and I was successful at it, and I made a pretty good living. And if somebody said, well, how would you handle this, or the finance committee and this, and what about taxes and whatever, and that person said, all I'm going to do is go and find the most liberal communist people in the Senate, if I'm running for senator, and I'm going to vote opposite how they vote. I would vote for that person. Absolutely 100%, I would vote for that person. It's just that simple. The Democrats have made it that simple, and they've also made it that simple to analyze what's really going on. So if somebody calls themselves a Republican or a conservative, God forbid, does something, whether it's a vote or a non-vote, that helps the non-vote that helps the communists like Bernie Sanders and AOC and Chuck Schumer and down the list, then that person is no good. That means they're not a conservative and they're not a put America first. They're put selfish politics first, an image first, what they think is a good image. And that's truly how I believe. I'm not saying that just to get a rise out of anybody. Think about it. How simple is it? If you're in the House of Representatives and you listen to AOC speak and find out what she's voting on, what she's for and what she's against, and then do the opposite, God bless America. You're doing what's right. You're putting America first. Because they put America last. And that's why I always say this about how are we going to find common ground? How are we going to meet somebody in the middle? How are we going to have something bipartisan when they're communists? What are you going to say? You can have half of your communist agenda? No, they need to be defeated. They need to constantly be hit with no. And sit down and shut up. They should be hit with that too. And they should be calling them dirty commies. All the time. Wear hats when they walk out of work and those reporters swarm them. Have on a hat that says, Sandy Cortez is a communist. This would be a much better America if that happened. I'm going to tell you that. Now, you laugh because I'm a genuinely, naturally funny person, but that's serious business. Serious business. All right, hang on. We got more coming up.
TJ, the realist Ritchie, on 107.9 WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk.
Oh, yeah. Ramming, jamming, slamming. All up in your face with unapologetic conservatism. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. We're here to help each other. I don't know what I'm here to help you do, but you're here to help me look good. Remember, you still got your assignments to be getting 5 people a week to check out my show. It's a community effort for the community. And we're very active in our community. Very sexually active in our community. Here's a clip that I had last night, but I only had an hour of my show because WBT hijacked it, disappeared it, half of my show, because they really don't know what they got in me, obviously. But this happened in New York. This is an Iranian fella standing up on a stage with a microphone speaking to a big crowd. Listen to what he said.
We proclaim our support for the Islamic Republic. Shame, shame, USA! Shame, shame, USA! Iran is the central pillar of the struggle against U.S. imperialism and Zionism today. The Islamic Revolution in 1979 served as the catalyst of anti-imperialism and anti-occupation globally.
America first. He means bankers first. He means Wall Street first.
All right. So it goes on and on and on. It's just a whole big anti-American rally. Here's what I want to know. Now, you know, I'm just a country boy, born and raised in the deep, deep South, rural Louisiana. Now, I know a lot of you are from Charlotte and the bigger cities in North Carolina, but I am from what we call in Louisiana a teeny tiny town. Something in Louisiana that's really small, they call it teeny tiny. Teeny tiny. And I'm not all big cityfied and everything like I've seen. Now, I have lived in the big dangerous city of Charlotte for 26 years, almost 27 years. The longest I've ever lived in any one area. And I love it. I've loved my time here. But here's what I want to know, because I have come, being in Charlotte, I have come in contact with a lot of New York people. A lot. Some of them, very cool. Some of them, I can't stand. Just like anywhere else. But every one of them is a tough talking New Yorker. And that's not the way we do it. If you were in New York, you wouldn't get away. Always talking trash about how tough they are, being from New York, the toughest city in America, the toughest city in the world. Everybody of Italian descent claims to be connected, which most of them say that aren't really. They just like to tell country people from the South big stories like they're in the movies. A lot of them look like the only thing they're connected to is a fork. To be quite honest with you. And as a fat person, I can say that. But I want to know where these tough New Yorkers are. I want to know where these, I don't know the proper name for it, so I don't get killed. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I want to know where these connected people are in New York that are so tough. I want to know where the daily person going to work in New York talks about how tough it is and you got to fight the city and I'm from New York, you don't mess with me. I want to know where neighboring tough New Jersey people are when stuff like this is going on in their city. Their city is being taken over. And I know New York and New Jersey are different things, but they're close enough. How was that guy? Not that I am condoning or encouraging violence, but I'm just wondering, how is that guy that was on that stage screaming all that into that microphone, how was he not met with some true blue New Yorkers throwing him to the ground and teaching him not to be coming into New York and doing that? Again, I'm not advocating that. I'm just wondering. Makes me believe New York's not quite as tough as they all talk. Makes me believe that, Jersey is a little bit too far of a drive to go and try to shut some anti-American, stealing our way of life people. Show them, teach them a lesson. Where is all that? Because I'm going to tell you one thing. That same guy stands up on a stage in the middle of Winfield, Louisiana. Population 6,000. He's not going to just walk away and be proud of himself for getting up there and being brave and talking against America and talking up for terrorists. That's not going to happen. There would be people coming from so deep into the country woods into the big city of Winfield. They never go. They'd be there to meet him. If not to administer physical confrontation with him, at least to let him know, don't you ever come back in our town again, into these parts, and say anything like that. Because it won't be good for you. But you also have to look at it. Like New York is now an Islamic state. For the most part. Because you also heard some regular old white liberals cheering this guy on in that crowd. You got a terrorist supporting mayor who has his cabinet meetings or whatever you call it, what New York has for their officials, has all of them sitting around the floor in a circle eating lunch with their hands. Has them doing Muslim religious ceremonies in the town hall. Call to prayer, Muslim call to prayer in the streets. People having to adjust their lives around this one religion that, doesn't really jibe with what America is supposed to be or how America was founded. Somebody told me that America was founded on Judeo-Christian beliefs. That's what I heard. So how is this possible? Not saying that people That's what I heard. So how is this possible? Not saying that people shouldn't be allowed to, if you're in the United States and you like the United States and you've assimilated into the United States and you want to practice whatever religion you want, as long as it's not bothering anybody else, feel free. Good for you. But that's not what they're doing. That's not good enough. They got to take over. And you know who says that? They do. They do. So where are all you tough-talking New Yorkers? When are you going to start putting up a fight? Not physical violence, of course. I'm not speaking of that. I'm saying, when are you going to stand up for yourselves? When are you going to stand up for yourselves so we don't have to stand up for you when it bleeds into the good part of the country? You say, well, we don't want to get in trouble with the law. What are you talking about? You're gangsters, right? A lot of you talk about coming from a long line of gangsters. You're not worried about the law. Again, I'm just saying, confronting them verbally at first, unless they start something and then, then they crack it off, then you get going in. I'm just wondering if you got any answers for that. Because I know there are a lot of New Yorkers in the big dangerous city of Charlotte. I know. Let me know. 704-570-1079. All right, hang on. We got to take a break. More coming up.
The TJ Ritchie Show is on. More next on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WPT. He is Charlotte's most charmed and dangerous, always speaking the truth. Whether you like it or not, it's TJ Ritchie on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WPT.
America's coolest conservative and the green-eyed patriot, on the air, everywhere. Woo! St. Patrick's Day. I did not wear green today on purpose because I wanted my wife to pinch me so I could knock her the hell out. I'm kidding. I would never do that. But either way, she wasn't getting close enough to me to pinch me. That's a weird tradition anyway. If you're not wearing green, we're going to pinch you. Or in the area of Louisiana where I was raised, it's pinch. We're going to paint you. Like, you better not. This text came in from a lady named Kathy with a K. Love that. She said, "Hi, TJ. I'm a conservative Republican from New York. I voted Republican in New York and I vote Republican here. I am from the Hudson Valley in New York. When you talk about New Yorkers, there's a huge difference between people from New York City and New York State. The New Yorkers you are describing on air tonight sound like those from New York City and not New York State." You're absolutely right. I should have clarified that. Because there are, they'll say, are you from the city or upstate? And the city is obviously New York City. New York City stand now, I guess. And then I also know a lot of people from Buffalo, Rochester, Albany. And the upstate New York people have a different accent. For example, they have a little bit of an OI sound in words that have a long I, like the word bike. All right, so in my hometown of Winfield, Louisiana, it's a bike, like a southern drawl, bike. In North Carolina, if you got an authentic, traditional North Carolina accent, it would be Bach, almost like a B-A-H-K. Like Lindsay that works on my other show. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but I have two jobs. Her daughter's name is Delilah. And when she says her name, sometimes it sounds like she's saying Delilah. And she's from good old Concord, North Carolina. But upstate New York people put like an OI sound to it. Like they would say boik, like that. I pay attention to these types of things. But yeah, they're two different types of people. And I don't want to just start flexing on everybody with my knowledge of upstate New York. I don't want to start ordering up a beef on weck, to traditional buffalo sandwich. There are about 5 people from Buffalo listening right now. They're like, yes. And the rest of you are in the dark. Fine. So what? Who cares? But you're right, yeah. I ran into a friend today that I haven't seen in a long time. I went to one of these big, it was just a big, giant store where the common people go and they buy food and clothing and things like that. And it's it's for the commoners. I'd heard about it. It starts with a W. It's like Walmart. So I decided I wanted to go and it's basically I was doing like some research for a documentary on common people. And I went in there and I ran into this old friend that I haven't seen in a long time. And her daughter and my daughter used to, they grew up together being best friends. And her daughter graduated from App State and moved to New York. And she's been living and working in New York for several years now. And I said, I don't know how you stand it. I really don't. My daughter lives and works in Nashville, and that's bad enough. I cannot imagine waking up every day and trying to go to sleep at night, knowing my child, no matter how grown they are, would be living in New York. And that was before Mom Donnie took over, even. It's been basically a den of iniquity and crime and all for years, even before it became a Muslim state. And not just a Muslim state, but a radical Islamist state of New York City. So I've got something that I've been wondering about this whole situation with Mom Donnie and all these other radical Islamists growing more and more bold in the United States of America. I have a specific question, and I'm wondering when and if this is ever going to happen. Because when it does, I think it changes everything. I think it changes everything. Maybe I'll be the leader of the movement. We'll find out. Coming up in the next hour. Hang on.
He's It's America's coolest conservative and the future king of talk radio. 107.9 FM WBT presents The TJ Ritchie Show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, it is going to be a long night for me, ladies and gentlemen, because I will stay up to watch U.S. America in the World Baseball Classic championship game take on Venezuela. Venezuela. They're doing the opening ceremonies now. And so, and you know, what's that? Why is that such a big deal? Because I don't know if I've ever talked about this or mentioned it at all, but I also do a morning show. And I'll have to be up super early to do the morning show as well as this one later on at night. And I'm an old man. And I can't pull all-nighters like I used to. 704-570-1079 is the phone number. If you want to call or text, please do so. It's driven by Liberty Buick GMC. Now, here is my question. I as the smart people say, I posited this during the New York City mayoral election when I first started talking about Slow Ron Mamdani. And I called him racist. He's racist against the majority of white people in this country. Well, no, he's racist against all white people in this country. He's racist against the majority of black people in this country and the majority of brown people in this country. You see, because he and other radical Muslim extremists like him are out to turn this country into an exclusively Muslim, as he says, Muslim country, away from its Judeo-Christian founding. And he doesn't have to say that. But plenty of people in U.S. America do say it. Plenty of Muslims do say that. And he doesn't announce any of them. He's pro-Hamas. He's pro-terrorist. He's pro-anybody who is extreme Muslim. And anybody who questions him or has the gall to speak up for Christians, you know, oddly enough, in a Christian nation, hello, he calls them racist, Islamophobic, cries, so hurt, my feelings are so hurt. So here is what I want to know. Once again, when are we, as the majority races in this country, white, black, and brown, when are we all going to realize that these Muslim extremists who are trying to take over the United States hate us all? Because the majority of black and brown people in the United States are what? Christians. See, that's what I want to do. I want to get that information out. I want to really get through to, you know, as the communist left calls them when they're using them as political fodder, black and brown people, to fully understand that they're not, these Muslim extremists are not just coming for the white people. No. The Muslim extremists don't want anybody who is a Christian to be in charge of anything or to live their lives the way they want to be led. So I know that it's easy for black and brown people to sit around hating on Whitey. I get it. You're just bombarded with that from the media and from the political communist, Marxist Democrats, and you have been for generations now. Hate white people, white people are evil, white devils, the whole thing. And I guarantee you, if you found somebody in 2026 that hates white people, and you asked them to name one way that a white person has ever done harm to them because of their race, they'd be hard pressed to think of something. I've seen it. I've seen it happen on the internets. They'll spit out all these generalities and stuff that they've learned from other hate white people, that crowd. But in modern times, not very many cases of white people just being racist toward black people and holding them back or doing them harm because of the fact that they're black. Now, plenty of examples on the other way. You see that all the time. Attacking white people just because they're white. You see that a lot on the internets, on the TikToks and whatnot. But this is the issue that could bring us all together. But that's why the Democrats would never, ever want it to happen. Because the Democrats don't want us all living in harmony. They want us all living in hatred of each other, group against group against group. That way they can slither in and take power, pitting one group against another. But listen, I don't know how to get it going because I'm not that type of person. I'm an idea man. I'm a creative type. I'm not a follow through, take the reins, organize type person. But I really feel in my heart this is the issue that could finally get white Americans, black Americans, and Latinos together to realize that the Democrat Party is against us all. The Democrat Party is against all people who want to live as free individuals with individual freedom and liberty, and for the government to get out of our way. That would be the end of the Democrat Party if all three of these races, the most populous races in America, got together and realized that and worked together. That's why the Democrats want all these extreme Muslims in here. They just don't realize what they're doing. How it's going to end up getting them, stamped out of the country as well. Because they think that if they cause this complete chaos and everything, that they'll come in and people will want the Democrats to take over, take away freedom if you have to. And all. But once the Muslim extremists, once they get a foothold, they're not going to turn anything over to Democrats. I mean, look at the proof of that. How many countries are run by radical Islamists? And how good do the people have it there? I would say not good at all. So they want to come into this country that is the best country on the face of the earth in the history of the world, and think that they're going to take it over and make it into their way of Sharia and all of that. Well, no, you've already got a bunch of countries that are like that. But when you're dealing with people who believe that it is their mission to extinguish all other religions, then they don't care. They don't care about the freedom of America and and the liberty and, this being the greatest country ever. They don't care about that. They just care about every single person living by their religious law. That's what they care about. So who's going to have the courage to call them out for being racist against black Americans and brown Americans? Who is going to be able to shine that light on the ones pulling the strings, the Democrat Party bosses? Who's going to be able to get enough people raising hell to get these politicians to do something about these radicals coming in and trying to take over our country, our Judeo-Christian country? Get mad if you want. Call me a bigot if you want. Christian nationalist, call me whatever you want. But history is on my side, because there's no disputing the fact that this country is the greatest country in the history of the world. And there's also no disputing the fact that it was founded on Christian beliefs and Christian principles. So you can jabber all you want, all your left-wing bullcrap. But the proof is in the pudding. And I've got the pudding. Hang on, more coming up.
The realest your radio has ever been. TJ Ritchie is on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WPT. Text everybody in your contacts list and tell them that Ritchie's on. Welcome back to the TJ Ritchie Show on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WPT.
Bless America, and God bless USA baseball. 704-570-1079 is the number. Now, there's a lady who listens to my other show a lot, my syndicated morning show. What's that? Yeah, I thought I had mentioned that. I haven't mentioned that I got two jobs. And she had heard me talking about the baseball and my philosophy that, I'm going to run through it quickly because if you listen every night, you've heard it about 1,000 times now. If you play Major League Baseball in the United States of America, you should not be allowed to go play for your home country against U.S. America. You should not be able to take up bats against the country where you make millions of dollars, the country that supports you and makes you a millionaire. Now, if you don't want to play for U.S. America, that's a different story. But you can't go and take up bats against U.S. America. And if you do, you shouldn't be allowed to come back and play ball here. You should, if it's that important to you, go try to eke out a living playing baseball in Venezuela or wherever it is that you came from. In the case of Ohtani, go back and play in Japan. Everybody seems to think that's an extreme opinion. And then I said, well, okay, if you think that's extreme, I say that if you are a fan and you cheer for a country other than U.S. America, then you need to be deported. And if you were born in America, you need to be deported to the country that you're cheering for. So if you're cheering for Dominican Republic, like the other night against U.S. America, and say you were born a New Yorker, then you got to go to Dominican Republic and live, and you can't come back. So this lady that listens to my other show a lot, she said her name's Maria, and she's from Greece. that she's either from Greece or she's Greek, one or the other. She say, listening to you talk about cheering against the U.S. back in 2006, the Greek national basketball team was playing against the U.S. team, and my boyfriend at the time was cheering for the U.S. team, and I was shocked and appalled. Looking back, I should have broken up with him that night. Greece actually ended up winning. Glad I wasn't deported, though. Ha, ha, ha. My response? You should have been. If I were president, you would have been on the next plane to Athens. She said, I wouldn't have minded too much at the time. To be honest, I'm a sucker for an underdog, too, so I couldn't help myself. I said, everybody is an underdog to America. Are you rooting for Iran as well? Gotcha. She said, LMAO, no, sir. So you see, they think I'm all fun and games with it, but I'm serious as I can be. You're in America now. You've come here for a better life. Congratulations. So now you belong to us. Your loyalty is with us or it's with no one. All the way down to your sports teams. I have spoken. We are in the bottom of the first inning, by the way. No score. U.S. America batting. Bryce Harper is batting, and he hasn't done anything during this whole tournament. Best player in baseball. Just hasn't gotten hot. He's going to do it tonight, though. He will do it tonight. Okay, I wanted to play this last night, but I got, part of my show was robbed from me. It's a clip from CNN where these people on this panel with Abby Phillip are just complete and total dolts. They're Dumases is what they are. I mean, it's bad. It's bad how stupid these people are. They're not just, hack liberals. They're legitimately low IQ, as the president would say. I'm convinced of it. I don't have time to play it right now because I thought it was more important to get that message out there about my Greek listener needing to be deported. That was more important. But I'll get to this other clip from CNN and break it down for you. Coming up next. Hang on.
It's the TJ Ritchie Show on 107.9 WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk. Hear him on the radio and podcast. Watch him on YouTube. Like and subscribe to all social media platforms at tjritchie.com and WBT.com. Now, back to TJ Ritchie on 107.9 FM WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk.
This CNN show with Abby Phillip, that's the one that Scott Jennings is always just wasting people on. Scott Jennings, about, the lone Republican voice. He used to not even be that much of a conservative. He's from the Bush administration, and the Bush administration is, well known for being moderate. But I mean, he's found his voice now, and he's really made a name for himself on that crazy show. So there's a woman on there, and she was the one that the rest of the Marxists on the panel were against the other day. And Abby Phillip, as the host of this, she never changes expressions. Her face never moves. And she can be in a high energy argument, and this is the way she's arguing, or she can be in complete and total low-key agreement with someone. And this is the way she speaks, and her expression never changes. She's just monotone and completely low-key all the time. I think if there were an emergency in the studio, she would say, Can someone please help me? Call 911. My hair is on fire. I think my hair is on fire. Can you call 911? But listen, I'm not complaining. I would rather her be that way than yelling. Y'all know I can't take a woman screaming, especially a liberal one like that. All right, so this woman was talking about terrorist attacks that have gone on this past week in U.S. America. And listen to the response from all of the communists on this panel. Listen.
I can't speak for Mike Johnson, but I would say we've had 2 terrorist attacks here in the last 10 days.
What does that have to do with Muslims?
So can we condemn those? Why are we?
Of course. What does that have to do with Muslims?
What does that have to do with Muslims?
There is a radical strain of Islam that's led to these terrorist attacks. Obviously, the vast majority of Muslims are
people
peaceful.
with terroristic ideologies here and all around the world. What does that have to do with whether Muslims belong in American society as a group?
Yeah, and let's be clear.
I'd like her to hear the answer.
Okay. Anna Navarro. I would like to hear the answer. And then she put her hand up on her face like, I'm listening. Just that smug look. So she says, we've had 2 terrorist attacks this week in this country. Well, what does that have to do with Muslim? What does that have to do with Muslim? What does that I don't know. What does that have to do with Muslim? What does that have to do with Muslim? Maybe because they yelled Allahu Akbar before the one guy started shooting and before the other guy ran a car with explosives into a synagogue. One was connected to ISIS. The 2 people that threw bombs to blow up the protesters who were anti-Muslim takeover in front of Mamdani's house. They were trying to blow up the white people, yelling Allahu Akbar, throwing up ISIS signs. What does that have to do with Muslim? What does that have to do with Muslim? I don't know. You tell me, doofus. Now, I always try to break it down where they are, they're either pushing an agenda and they know what they're saying is BS, and then the other side of it is that they're really that stupid. And I think everybody on this panel is really that damn stupid. Well, please tell me. They thought they had her in such a gotcha moment. Please tell me, what does that have to do with Muslim? What does that have to do with being Muslim? It'd be like if I've been on vacation and I came back and I said, man, I really got tanned while I was gone. And everybody started yelling, what does that have to do with the sun? What does that have to do with the sun? I went swimming. What does that have to do with water? Well, the fact that I said I've been at the beach in the sun and I love getting tan, and I actually call myself LeBronzed in the summer as a nickname, also refer to myself as Tanning Tatum, then maybe that does have something to do with the sun. You think? But they're just so ready to let everybody know that they're more nuanced, that they can look past the fact that these people just happen to be Muslim extremist Islamist. The guy who had a brother in Hezbollah that shot the ROTC instructor before the students subdued him and stabbed him. And I hope he bled out slowly. Remember, I was talking about that the other night. I hope he did. I hope he bled out slowly, looking at them. And then the guy driving his car full of explosives into the synagogue where there were preschool children. And he had to be stopped by a security guard with a gun. Yeah, maybe the fact that they were all Muslim extremists, as well as the 2 that threw the bombs in New York during the protests. But maybe Abby Phillip is right. Maybe that has nothing to do with the fact that they're Muslim. Maybe it's not connected at all. Maybe it's just that the Trump administration and all of the Republicans in Congress are racists. They're racist Islamophobes. And it was almost like they were, each one of them was trying to see who could say, what does that have to do with Muslim, as fast as they could? Who's going to do it first? Who's going to say it first? And then that stupid ass Anna Navarro. Yeah, I want to hear what she says. Shut up. You sit there in judgment of somebody, you witch. Go get back on The View. That's where you belong. You're not even a serious person. But President Trump could walk into hell by himself and drag the devil up to earth and kill him on TV with the world watching. And the Democrats would call him a hellophobic, a brutal, murderous dictator. And they would say there was no imminent threat from Satan for Trump to go down there and kill him. And Trump's just as bad of a dictator as Satan was in hell. Trump is just as bad as Satan, and he proved it by killing Satan. That's how deranged these people are. They're twisted. I really, some of them are so stupid, though. I don't know how they make it day to day through life without getting lost everywhere they go and without getting scammed and ripped off. I really don't. It's almost like, somebody should be watching over them, keeping them from running into light poles and things like that. I mean, they're just stupid. What's that have to do with being Muslim? So if I said, in the last World Classic baseball game, the United States team hit 2 home runs, and they started screaming, "What's that have to do with baseball? What's that have to do with baseball?" But we laugh now, but it's idiots like that endanger all of us. And that's what's so bad about it. If they were just harmless and we could point and laugh at them and mock them and have them just get frustrated and throw little tantrums, that'd be one thing. But there are enough of them that make it hard on us, make it difficult on the smart people, that we may lose our freedom over their idiocy. And the smart woman was just sitting there going, what, are you kidding? She was dumbfounded at what they were asking her. And they all just stared at her like, you better back that up. You better back that up, you racist white wench. It's like, oh, you're right. You're all better than I am. You're all so kind and open-minded. What you think Anna Navarro would do or Abby Phillip would do if they were awakened in the middle of the night by somebody in their yard screaming to the top of their lungs, "Death to America, Allahu Akbar," just screaming like a maniac and, threatening, this is I'm going to bomb you or whatever. I hate you. You will answer to my God or no God, the whole thing. Would they call the police? Would they say, I think there's a terrorist in my yard? Or would that be racist and bigoted and Islamophobic? I bet the the person wouldn't even have to look. Like, that person could be Lily White from Indiana, a corn-fed Fred out there yelling that, and they would call and say there's a terrorist in my house, in my yard. But yet they're too good for that. They're way better than anybody who just calls it out. Again, these hypocrites, these dirty, trashy liberals just make me sick. All right, one segment left. We'll get to it coming up next.
TJ Ritchie on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WPT. Night has fallen and the green-eyed patriot is on the air. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 FM WPT.
Welcome back to Unapologetic In-Your-Face Conservatism. You want to know just how stupidly sick and twisted these professional Democrats are? So we're just talking about the terrorist attack at Old Dominion, where the Muslim terrorist, Islamist, went in with a rifle and killed the ROTC instructor. Virginia Delegate Garrett McGuire, Democrat, argued that ROTC students who killed the Old Dominion University terrorist, Old Dominion University Islamist terrorist, proved that you don't need a gun to defend yourself. So they are, in Virginia, trying to take away the Second Amendment, in essence, from their citizens. And while arguing in favor of gun control bill HB 1525, a bill banning people under 21 years of age from being able to, quote, knowingly and intentionally purchase, possess, or transport a handgun or assault firearm anywhere in the Commonwealth, McGuire used the example of unarmed ROTC students to contend you do not need a gun in order to defend your life. You see how twisted they are? That is just insane. So, not a thank God they were able to kill this guy even without a gun. They use it as a way to try and take away the freedom that was given to us in the very beginning of this country. Because they are dead set. When I say they, I mean Democrats. Professional Democrats are dead set on destroying this country. Remember, Democrats destroy everything they're put in charge of. Everything. They don't build, they don't enhance, they destroy. Everything. There is not a case in, I would say, at least 50 years where Democrats have been in charge of something that got better in this country. Hell, probably even longer than that, because I'm 56. I mean, And then I would think, okay, well, let's turn the tables. Let's ask this idiot, Garrett McGuire, what he would rather have. If a crazed lunatic, let's say a crazed lunatic on the right, has him cornered, would he rather have a knife to defend himself or a gun? Now, you would pose that question because you would assume that it would be, oh, he's just being a hypocrite. He knows he would rather have a gun. But I don't know. I don't know, because I think that it's gotten to where a lot of them are just that damn stupid. So brainwashed by the Marxists in charge of the Democrat Party that they would think that, and basically look at it as an honor killing, because they gave their life to the cause of taking away American freedom rather than kill the assailant and live another day. They would rather say, well, he died, I died, protecting the movement to take away freedom from American citizens. That's how twisted and sick these people are. I mean, just slimy, rotten pieces of crap. Now, I wonder how they picked, because they all get together and they have their little game plan, how they picked him to be the one that went out and said that. Did he volunteer to do that? Did he say, please let me go out and make the point that because those ROTC guys killed the guy with the gun without having a gun, that proves that people don't need guns. Let me be the one to do that. Or did they just say, hey, Garrett, you're up. It's your turn. It's your turn to get some spotlight. Here's what we want you to say. And there are still people, millions of people, that would argue that these Democrat politicians, these professional Democrats, are not evil. You're going to tell me that ROTC instructor's body is not even buried yet, and they're making political points out of his death and saying that something that guy stood for and fought for, he was a combat veteran, should be taken away from people because the Islamic terrorist extremists that murdered him in the name of Allah was able to be subdued after they killed him by people who didn't have a gun. So this is our anti-Second Amendment weapon of the day here. I really don't know how these people live with themselves. And, well, I guess I do, because they're all narcissistic psychopaths. If you're a Democrat on that level, to where you're, making laws in a crazy, unchecked Democrat Congress like that, you've got to be a psycho, a complete and total psycho. And then I often wonder too what their families think about them. Like his family, obviously, he's made it. He's a Democrat lawmaker in Virginia. He's on TV all the time in the state, I'm sure, in the Commonwealth. His family has to see. I wonder if they're proud of him. They go, there he is. There's Garrett on TV again. Oh, he's doing such great work. Or do the members of his family know that he's full of crap and that he's evil? Evil and a demon. Surely somebody, cousin or somebody, has to know that he's a demon. they can't all be proud of him because he's made it in life. He's a distinguished congressperson. There's got to be somebody in Virginia that's part of his family that has some sense, that could go around and tell all the aunts and uncles and grandparents, you know he's a psycho, right? You know he needs to be in an institution. He needs to be in the hospital for the criminally insane before he snaps, because he's a mental case. Grandma, do you hear me? I know you're proud of him, but you got to understand, Grandma. You shouldn't be proud of him because he's a demon, anti-American. That's the relative I want to hear from. All right. Thank you so much for listening tonight. Nick Craig is coming up next. He does a real show, which is the way they've got it set up. So there's a real show right before me and then a real show right after. Kind of sandwich me in between. God loves you and ain't nothing you can do about it. See you tomorrow.